Hello, beautiful people. I hope all is well. I hope all is well. My name is Alison. I am a certified dating and relationship coach, and I primarily work with singles to help them find the love and commitment that they deserve. Every Wednesday around 6 p.m. Eastern, and even that might be a little bit questionable now that I got my baby. Around 6 p.m. Eastern, I do this live Q&A. So how does it all work? Before you beautiful people who may be new to my page, and it's A-okay because y'all are new, start bombarding me with questions in the comments. Let's explain how it works. So every Tuesday around this time, so around 6 p.m. on Tuesday, I post this green story. Sorry for the reflection of the ring. This green story. And in the story, it says for you to drop your question in the box, not to DM me, but in the box, okay? So you put your question in the box because that way, when I come on to do this live Q&A with you guys, that I'm able to slide up and I'm able to see all the questions all organized versus DMs, which is going to be a whole mosh posh of personal and this and that and the other, okay? So again, you have 24 hours for you to drop your question inside of the box. If you are a subscriber to my Instagram page, then your question is guaranteed to be answered every single week for free. Everybody else, I'm going to try to fill in the best way that I can with the time that I have allotted, which is until 7 p.m. So we have 45 minutes today. If you do not have a chance to watch this whole thing right now, it's A-okay. I save the lives. And sometimes if they're really good, I text it out or I email it out to my list. All you have to do is click the link in my bio, scroll all the way to the bottom, and you can sign up for the free VIP list. I send texts like twice a week. I really do not bombard. I really do not overwhelm. Okay? Excellent. The subscription is only $4.99. $4.99 a month. You get exclusive content. You get morning gems. You get your own reels. You get your own insights. I talk about mommy life. So it's only $4.99 to subscribe. You could click on my story and the link is right there. If you are new to my page, please introduce yourself so that I can welcome you appropriately to the land of love. Let me know who you are and where you are from so that I can welcome you appropriately. All right, beautiful people, let us jump in because, again, we only have 45 minutes. I have a session at 7 o'clock and we got to get going. Got some really good questions this week that I think that you guys are going to enjoy and I think will be helpful to those who need some insight, right? And if you need some more time and some more depth, you can click the link in my bio and you can book a session effective October 1st. I'm still on maternity leave, y'all, so I'm not taking any sessions because I'll be honest with you, I don't know when it's going to be quiet in my house. So I cannot promise that I can dedicate 30 minutes to anybody because I don't know what time my baby going to be asleep. Okay? Excelente. So let's start with my subscribers first because the subscribers deserve to be taken care of first. Okay. I'm 34 with a child who's 11. 34 with a child who's 11. How should I tell men I only want more kids if I can afford to still travel? I'm 34 with a child who's 11. How should I tell men I only want more kids if I can afford to still travel? This is easy peasy. Easy peasy because everybody knows how expensive it is to have children. There was an article that came out recently that says it's like $300,000 to raise a kid in the United States, right? Presuming you're from the United States. So I would make it very clear and I would say something along the lines of, I'd be interested in having more children once I'm able to still maintain my lifestyle. It doesn't have to be specifically travel, right? And I'm sure it's not only travel. Like I'm sure you still want to go out on dates. I'm sure you still want to eat out. I'm sure you still want to buy whatever you tend to buy. So yeah, sure, I would love to have more children, but it's only if my partner and I are able to maintain the same lifestyle before the child. That's not outrageous. I don't think anyone would be offended. It is reasonable. It is logical. Who wants to edit their lifestyle if they don't have to? So again, when you meet men, they ask you whether or not you're interested in having children. You can say, sure, I'd be more than willing to become a mom again or to have a second child or to whatever once my partner and I are able to maintain the same lifestyle. And I don't think anyone would be offended by using the use of that terminology. Okay? Easy peasy. Guys, a lot of this stuff is extremely straightforward. Like it's not rocket science. You don't have to be worried. Like just be forthcoming early in the game and it will save you a lot of problems later on. Should I presume a red flag if a guy isn't an initiator? thought he's expressed interest. Should I presume a red flag if a guy isn't an initiator, though he's expressed interest? All right, so let's talk about red flags. We talk about red flags, we talk about green flags. Let's talk about the flags, okay? A flag, unless it's outrageous, I'm talking about where someone is abusive, nasty, disrespectful. A red flag is a red flag for you. A red flag may not be a red flag for me. It may be green. I like to call some flags pink flags. Like, I'm alerted, I'm a little concerned, but it's not outrageous, right? So a red flag is going to be, to me, the obvious disrespectful stuff, right? Like just disgusting behavior that no human being should ever accept anywhere, anytime. That to me is a blaring red flag. Anything else is going to be your preference. Your preference. So what is a red flag for you may not be a red flag or problematic, because that's what red means, right? And when you see red, you stop. It's a problem. It's an issue, right? Like, it may not be a problem for me. So what my expectations or what my standards are and what my non-negotiables are, which you talk about every single week, you should establish, if you are on the dating scene, what your non-negotiables are. I tell my clients to have 5 to 6 non-negotiables. These are the behaviors and traits that their partner must seemingly have, or potential partner must seemingly have, before you continue to date them, before you continue to commit to them, before you continue to marry them, right? So those are your non-negotiables. Those are the things that you will not budge on. There's no conversation. There's no negotiation. These are 5 or 6 behaviors or traits someone must have. So if you have your list, and you should have that list before you get on the dating scene. You should have that list before you get on a dating app. You should have that list before you go out socially. You should know exactly what you're looking for. Just like a shopping list. You should not go to the supermarket hungry. You should not go on a dating app thirsty, right? You should know exactly what you're shopping for. You go to those aisles, you pick up those items, you go to checkout. Now you know exactly what's in the cabinets, you know exactly what you're going to be cooking tonight. You're happy, you're good. When you go to the supermarket without direction, without your shopping list, you end up buying a whole lot of BS stuff, the stuff that you don't need. You buy marshmallows, right? You buy brown sugar. And now you walked out, you don't have the egg, you don't have the bread, you don't have the meat, you don't have the potatoes, you don't have the things that you need, right? Sustenance, the things you need to make your meal. You have your non-negotiables. You should be having that before you get on the dating scene, period. Got it? Good. Now, once you have those non-negotiables, your non-negotiables are yours. So what's a red flag or what's problematic for you may not be a red flag or problematic for me. So for her, she's concerned that the guy is not an initiator. He doesn't seem to initiate. I don't know if that's initiating contact, initiating dates. Is that a problem for you? You feel as though he likes you. He's expressed interest. So you believe that he likes you. That's not the concern here. It just doesn't seem like he's the person who tends to take the lead. Is that a problem for you? If that's a problem for you, then it's a red flag for you. For some women, they don't care. They're not concerned. If they're confident that the gentleman likes them, if they need to be the one who calls a little bit more or texts a little bit more or plans the dates a little bit more, it may not bother them. But again, red flags are going to be completely indicative of what your core values are. I can't answer that for you. The only thing that's a red flag, or the red flags are outrageous behavior. Disrespectful, abusive, those are obvious, right? But anything else is going to be based on what your core values are, and that's why you create that list, so you know exactly what you're looking for and you could decide accordingly. I hope that makes sense, okay? So, any tips on how I can open my mind to date someone outside of my usual preferences? Any tips on how I can open my mind to date someone outside of my usual preferences? Do it. That's it. There's not going to be journaling or a mantra that you have to chant before you pray in the morning. Like, do it. So if there is a gentleman who comes across, that you come across, and again, he seems to fit the non-negotiables, right? But perhaps he's not your race. Perhaps he's not your religion and you're not super religious. Perhaps he's not your height preference. Perhaps he's not your looks preference. But he seems to match the non-negotiables. Behaviors and traits, not height, not salary. Behaviors and traits Then you say, hi, how are you? Good. You talk. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go on that date. That's how you open your mind and you open your heart to people who don't necessarily fit the perfect aesthetic. And the good thing, I'm glad that you asked this question, because there's been a lot of talk about aesthetics in regards to this rapper, Erica Banks, right? Who there was a video of her talking about that she only likes to go to the club and she only wants to be friends with girls who are beautiful with big butts. And people were outraged about it. Like, oh my gosh, like, how are you choosing friends based on something that's so shallow? And that's the problem with people. And that's why you can't keep a friend, because you're basing it on shallow stuff. But we don't mind basing our romantic relationships on super shallow stuff. Yes, you have to be attracted to your partner. I'm not saying date a gargoyle, right? As a matter of fact, my reel that I'm posting tomorrow talks about, like, you got to be attracted to, right? But does this person have to be model-esque? And dare I say, not you personally, are you model-esque? Right? Okay. So how do you give someone a chance? You give them a chance. You make your non-negotiable list based on behaviors, based on traits, based on core values of a human being, right? If they seem to match that, you talk to them on the phone. That's how you gather that information. You go out on the date. You give them a chance. That's how. It's not anything that's like magical or special. Okay? If you enjoy yourself and they're treating you with respect and they're showing that interest, then guess what? They're going to appear more attractive than ever. I have a client who was dating a gentleman, and at first she's like, oh, he's all right. Like, he's all right looking, right? Like, he'll pass. He's good looking enough for her to go out on the date with. He's treating her like a queen right now. And she said she is so attracted to him because of the behavior, right? Just like you guys know, the mean girls. Like, the mean girls in high school could be beautiful girls, but their behavior is nasty and it makes them look ugly. Same idea, okay? All right. Sorry, I talk so much that my iPad timed out. All right. How do I tell my friend they need a makeover to attract better men? How do I tell my friend they need a makeover to attract better men? All right, so this is going to go back to something I said last week. It could be because I am a Brooklynite. It could be because I am of West Indian descent. I don't know. But to me, this stuff is not that hard, right? So first of all, I'm not going to say it multiple times. So if I'm looking at my friend and I feel like she's complaining about the types of men she's attracting, and I feel like she would attract more attractive men or higher earning men, I don't really know what a better man is, but whatever better is for you, right? If she looked different, if she invested more in her looks, if she styled her hair better or differently, if she lost weight, if she wore makeup, whatever I think it is, I'm just going to tell her. So if the next time she complains to me and she says, you know, I can't find a guy who's good looking or whatever, I'm going to say, well, have you considered upgrading your look? Have you considered trying to wear your hair like this? Have you considered wearing different clothing? Have you considered trying to be more healthy? Perhaps you could attract a man who's more fit if you were in the places where fit men were, i.e. the gym, right? I'm going to say it one good time. Have you considered? After that, whatever she takes, it's her business, it's not mine, right? But I'll just drop it like that. Babes, have you considered upgrading your look? We all can afford to upgrade our look. I'm gorgeous. I can still afford to upgrade my look, right? I haven't got my eyebrows done in 6 weeks. It's all the way on the other side of Brooklyn. If I was concerned about the way that I looked, I could get in my car and go and get my eyebrows done. I don't wear makeup. If I was concerned about the way that I look, I could make an effort to wear makeup. Like, it's not an insult. It doesn't say that you're ugly because you're in a position to upgrade your look. Just ask. Have you considered upgrading your look? Have you considered trying your hair differently? Have you considered? And I'm only saying it one time. I'm not begging my friend to change her look. That's her business. Okay? That's how I would do it. Checks all the boxes you're looking for, but is 5'3" and a bad kisser. Checks all the boxes that you are looking for, but is 5'3" and a bad kisser. Okay, so I have some questions. My first question is, how tall are you? Right? Because I'm not too concerned about a guy who's 5'3" if the woman is 4'11", right? Even in your 4-inch heels, you guys are the same height. So how tall are you? It doesn't mean that a guy has to be 100%. See, Jay saying the same thing. Well, how tall is she? It doesn't have to be that a guy has to be taller than you. I remember I was watching a video. It was, I don't know, 3rd anniversary, 5th anniversary of Sierra and her husband, Russell Wilson. Good. And they were dancing in the video, and I realized, Sierra is taller than Russell. And so all of these women who say how great of a guy Russell Wilson is, and we all say that, everybody on Instagram talks to all the women, right? And all the guys they hate, but that's another story for another day. We talk about how great of a guy he is, and I'm like, wow, Russell Wilson's actually like an inch shorter than Sierra. So I'm not saying that a guy has to be taller than his woman. I think that there can be exceptions made, because height at the end of the day is not going to be indicative of how much someone loves you and how well they treat you. Sometimes, ladies, you might have to take an L on an inch or two, right? For the happier life. Suck it up. Or you can have your 6'6" tall glass of chocolate milk and he cheats on you and treats you like shit. So, anywho, how tall are you? If we're talking about your 5'6", 5'7", 5'8", like, okay, I get it. Like, I would not date someone who's 5'3". I would compare my height to theirs. And then the bad kisser part. You gotta decide that for yourself. Like, how important is kissing to you? How much kissing y'all gonna do? Like, you have to decide for yourself if that is a deal breaker for you. If that passion, if that romance, if that kissing is a deal breaker. I can't answer that for you, sis. But the height part, again, it really is in comparison to yours. Okay? All right. Okay. Tested positive for STD and told my new boo after being intimate. He tested negative. Redemption tips? Oh, that's a good one. Someone said teach him how to kiss. Yeah, talk to him. Sorry, that was a good one. Show him. Y'all so bright. Tested positive for STD and told my new boo after being intimate. He tested negative. Redemption tips? Okay, so I am going to assume that you are a good person and you told him after being intimate because you found out after you were intimate that you were actually positive with this STD, right? That's going to be my assumption. My assumption is that you told him after intimacy because you found out after intimacy. I need to assume that, because anything else would be grimy and terrible, okay? Let's go through the grimy, terrible part real quick, because I don't think that that's you. I don't know you, but I don't think that's you because I just don't want to believe it, okay? If you knew and you were intimate anyway, then you don't deserve this man or anybody else. You need to go to therapy and figure out why you're such a nasty human being. And I don't mean nasty in terms of disease. I mean nasty in terms of, like, why you do that to somebody, right? Okay. I'm just going to say that, but I don't think that's you because I just cannot imagine a human being doing that to anybody, okay? So, I'm going to assume that you found out that you were positive with this STD after the intimacy. So, okay, you didn't know. You can't tell somebody something that you were not aware of, so you're not at fault in terms of that, right? He tested negative. Okay, now this ain't going to be nice. I need to see the paperwork. I want to see the paperwork. I want proof and evidence that he also tested negative. It's very easy for him to say and to get away with, you're the bad guy, I'm the good guy because I tested negative. I want to see the paperwork that proves that this gentleman is not positive with this STD. I want to see it. I don't believe it. It's not that I don't believe him. I'm not going to believe it until I see the documents. Okay? So that's what, I'm sorry, Bree, what did you walk in on? The question is, tested positive for an STD and told my new boo after being intimate. We are assuming she did not know until afterwards. We're assuming she's a good person. Okay? He tested negative. Redemption tips. First of all, I want to see the documentation. I want to see the proof from the doctor that shows, that discloses. I am going to take a picture or screenshot of that letter. I am going to Google it. I'm going to make sure that the clinics, like, I need to make sure this is legitimate because people fake documents all the time. All right. Now, once I am of the belief that he really is negative, right? then okay, I need to know what it was the status of your relationship. What were you guys exclusive? How long were you positive? If you can even find that out, like there's a lot of information that I would need to know in order to know exactly how to move forward. Okay. If you, I mean, this is hard. I'm not sure if there is much redemption. If this gentleman is telling the truth and he's negative, then I can imagine that most people are not going to want to continue to be sexually intimate with someone who has an STD. Unless it's curable, then, right? What was the status of your relationship? Did you cheat on this man and that's how you got the STD? Did you have the STD before you were with him and you just were not aware? I think that those are going to be factors, right? But I'll be honest with you, if it were me, I would let it go. I would move forward. If this STD is curable, of course, take the medication to cure it. If it is not curable, then I would find support groups or therapy that's going to help me to live a life of being positive with whatever the situation is. I don't think there is redemption. The only way that this is redemptible, right, is one, is it curable? Two, were you guys not exclusive? If you cheated on this man and got an STD and this STD is not curable, good luck, Chuck. You need to move on from this situation, need to get whatever, follow whatever medical advice the medical professionals have given you. Hopefully it's curable. If it's not, get into a support group, get into some therapy so you can process this. And then you need to start dating people who have the same status as you. Okay? Yes, redeemable. Got it? Good. All right, y'all. I keep talking to guys that just want to chill. What am I doing wrong? I keep talking to guys who just want to chill. What am I doing wrong? Are you qualifying these people before getting to the chill phase? Meaning, where are you meeting them? What kind of conversations are you having in advance? Are you making it abundantly clear from the absolute onset of this conversation that you are looking for more, whatever more may be? You're looking for a committed relationship. You're looking for a long-term partnership. You're looking for marriage. Are you making that abundantly clear? When you make those things abundantly clear to people in the absolute beginning, they are less inclined to waste your time because they don't want to waste theirs, right? So if you start using words like marriage, children, partnership, this is what I desire for myself. So I'm not saying, James, I want you to marry me. Never. He's a stranger. I don't even know if I want to marry James, or I'm just getting to know him to see if he's a good fit. What I'm doing is saying, this is the vision I have for my life. I want children. I want more children. I want to be married. I want a partner to start businesses with. I want to do investment properties. This is what I want for my life. When you start using very strong language like that, it is extremely off-putting, which is good. Good. I want to be off-putting. I want anyone who doesn't have that vision for themselves, who doesn't have that lifestyle that they want for themselves, I want them to be off-put, right? I want them to say, this girl's coming on too strong. I'm good on her. I don't want to waste my time and effort trying to convince this chick to sleep with me, and she's already talking about what she wants 3 years from now, 5 years. It's too much work. Good. Thank you, sir. And when they ghost, I'm glad and I'm thankful. And when they don't respond, I'm glad and I'm thankful, because I would much rather you ghost me after our first date or after our first few conversations when I drop those words on you. I would much rather you ghost me now than sleep with me and ghost me 3 months or 6 months from now. Or ghost me after I done introduced you to my mom and now she's asking me Thanksgiving dinner, where's James? Right? Like I am passionate about folks removing themselves from my life as early as humanly possible. I am passionate about teaching my clients how to vet these people and weed them out by using this language so that they can leave expeditiously. Okay? So do not be afraid to be ghosted. It is a gift when they ghost you early. And the way that you get ghosted early is by making it abundantly clear to people the vision that you have in your life. Okay? Someone asked, how do I subscribe on Instagram? I know how to do it on FB, but not Instagram. This is the type of help this type of help deserves a subscription. Thank you. So what you'll do is, you can X out now, but I don't want you to leave me. You could go right to my stories, and there's a button in my stories that you can subscribe. And then I think you just go on my page and hit subscription. That I'm not 100% about, but I know for sure I have it in my stories, and I post it every day so that people can see it. Okay. So how do you get them to stop chilling? By making it abundantly clear that you are not the chill girl. I'm not chilling. I don't chill. I don't chill. I'm not down. I'm not cool. I used to be like that. Like in my teens, like, oh, I want dudes to know, like, I'm mad cool. I'm mad cool, yo. I know all the lyrics. I know all the raps. Like, I know better than you. I'm the biggest Biggie fan ever. I'm mad down. I'm chilling. Yeah, I'm not chilling no more. I'm grown. So I'm going to make it abundantly clear to you that I'm not chilling. I'm grown. Okay? What is the average number of dates or dating situations must you have to find the one? I don't have that answer. No one does. I love and appreciate the fact that you think that I do, but I have no idea what the average number of dates or dating until you find the one. Some people find the one as their high school sweetheart. It falls right into their lap. I mean, it's rare. You don't really see it that much, especially in big cities, but I have no idea whatsoever. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 20, sometimes it's never. I have no clue. But what I can tell you is I can help you to find the one. Click the link in my bio, sign up for the wait list. I'll be opening up groups at the end of October when I'm off of my maternity leave, and we shall see. Nita, do not be a negative Nancy. It does not have to be 1,009,678. Okay? I would say for me, real boyfriends that I really took seriously, like from my 20s on, I probably had 3 boyfriends and then my husband. But it could be 5, it could be 1, it could be 20. It could be a husband, a divorce, and then an ex-husband. Ain't nobody got the answer for that except for God. Okay? What can you do to gain trust from your partner after cheating? Go to therapy. What can you do to gain trust from your partner after cheating? Go to therapy. You don't have the tools to correct the damage that has been done. Your therapist has the tools, and it still might not correct the damage that has been done. As a result, you need to go to the person who has the tools, which would be a therapist. Get onto Instagram, look up pages, look up hashtags, get onto Google, find someone who specializes in, I don't want to say they specialize in adultery because it makes it seem like they are the ones who are adulterous. But they specialize in helping couples who are dealing with adultery. That's what you got to do. You don't have the answers, Sway. I don't have the answers. You need to go to therapy with somebody who has the tools. And I'm telling you now, it still may not work. You may realize in therapy, he may realize in therapy, yes, therapy and 2 willing participants, you're absolutely right, that it still doesn't work, that they're still not happy. Like, that's not a guarantee. So don't say, oh, I spent $1,000 in therapy because Alison said so and it still didn't work. Yeah, it may not, but you definitely don't have the tools. I don't have the tools. Okay? Okay. If follow up to someone else though. If an ex has been in therapy and church, how do I decide to take him back or not? If an ex has been in therapy and church, how do I decide to take him back or not? So first of all, I would need to know what the violation was, right? How has this person violated the relationship, caused the breakup? What hand did you play in the breakup? I would need more details, right? Because depending on the violation, all the therapy in the world might not fix it, right? All the church in the world might not fix it. So I've spoken at length about, for instance, someone having a baby, outside child in a relationship. Therapy is not going to, and I don't want to do this. I'm not suggesting this. Therapy is not going to erase the existence of this child. Church is not going to erase the existence of this child. It's going to be a constant reminder for me. That's just like, I cannot, I will not, right? So it doesn't matter. All the therapy in the world is not going to stop me being constantly reminded that my husband stepped out. Not my husband, someone's husband. Let me take that back. Someone's husband stepped out on them and had a child. Like, there's not enough therapy in the world that's going to help erase that from my mind, right? then, and this is selfish, but it is what it is, it's not my kid, then I'm thinking about the finances and now how our household finances are negatively impacted. Yes, negative, because we're subtracting, negatively impacted because you have to be a father who supports this child, because I will not associate myself with anybody who does not care for their child, not financially as well as in person. Okay? Got it? So I say all this to say, what was the violation? We first need to know what went wrong in the relationship before we can talk about, he's been to therapy, he's been to church, so should I give him a second chance? What did he do? Is it something that can be rectified in therapy? Is it something that can be rectified with church, right? So now let's say that it is. Because we talked about the instance where for me, it can't. Let's talk about if it is. Whatever the violation was, therapy can rectify it. Church can rectify it, right? So now I'm going to have to assess that. Some people might say that's called testing. Like, oh, you're testing the person. Well, if you've hurt me and if you violated our trust and you violated our relationship, it would be unintelligent of me to allow you back into my life without assessing, you could call that a test if you want, without assessing whether or not the behavior has changed. So someone just telling me I've been in therapy for 6 months and I've, dedicated my life to the Lord is not enough. I need to be able to assess if the behavior has changed. So whatever the violation was, I'm going to be constantly observing to see if that behavior has changed. Let's say the person had an angry streak and they broke some stuff. They punched some holes in walls. That's why y'all broke up. Okay, let's say that's what it is. If that's what it is, I am going to be waiting a long time to see how you behave when you're angry again. I'm going to pay attention to how you behave when someone cuts you off in the road. I'm going to be paying attention to when we get into an argument, how you speak to me. Are you using offensive language? Are you going back to your old angry ways? So this might be months. And oh well. And if the gentleman or the ex doesn't like it, then he can move on to somebody else. But if you're asking me for a second chance based on something that you've done, I need evidence that you have changed the behavior. So that means I might have to wait for circumstances to arise to see if the behavior has changed. And if you don't like it, then you can date somebody else who doesn't know that you have a history of doing blank. And that's perfectly okay. But it would be unintelligent for you to allow someone back into your life without any evidence that their behavior has changed. And just because they've gone to a couple of therapy sessions and they're back in church does not mean that their behavior has changed. So that's how you figure out whether or not to give an ex a chance. Not just the fact that they've been through therapy, but have they proven to you through things that you can observe and document that whatever they did to violate the relationship, they will not and should not and have not done again. Okay? I hope that answers your question. We have a few more. Ooh, all right, I got some time. I don't understand this one. I live with 2 men. When is the right time to tell this to the new guy I'm dating? When you say you live with 2 men, what exactly do you mean when you say that you live with 2 men? Are you romantically involved with 1 or 2 of them? Are you roommates? What do you mean when you say you live with 2 men? If you are romantically involved with any of those men, yes, polyandry, then that means you should date polyandrous, I hope that's the right word, men who would be down with the get down, right? Thank you, Lee of Little Faith. I hope I said that right. Leon, oh gosh, tell me. Let me get that right. But thank you for purchasing the badge. If you're talking about you're romantic with them, and that's the way that you function in romantic relationships, and you should only date men who would accept that. I'm sure there's websites and groups, and so find those. So if you are romantically involved with any of one of those 2 men, then we already got the answer for that. Find people who are down for that lifestyle, right? If you were involved and you're not anymore, and perhaps you're living with 1 or 2 of those men due to financial restraints or co-parenting or whatever, this is my advice. My advice is that you don't be worried about dating and you worry about getting your own spot. because any man who is interested in a monogamous, committed relationship, I shouldn't say any man, let me not be presumptuous. Any man that I know, right? Any man who I would deem as reasonable would not date someone who is living with an ex, if that's the circumstance. I don't care what your financial restrictions are. Get your financial restrictions together so you're no longer restricted and live alone or whatever, right? If these are roommates, this can also be problematic. I would not be comfortable with someone I'm dating having female roommates. Again, I would give you the same answer. Either find female roommates or live alone. But living with two men, when is the right time to tell the new guy that you're dating? I think the right time is to not tell him, and it's to get out of the house with two men. Whatever the circumstances are, if you are living with two men that you're not romantically involved in, then you need to get out of that house and either live with women or live by yourself. If you are romantically involved with those men and you're looking to add to your roster, then date men who are interested in adding to the roster. I hope that I didn't misunderstand your question, but that's the best that I can do based on the information I've been provided. Okay? Does online dating work? It seems, I guess she meant, to not be working out. What's next? What's next is you click the link in my bio. You can check out the free training. It's an hour and a half. It's going to give you some guidance on how to navigate dating. Then, if you need some more support, I have my masterclass, which is Dating 101. It's 3 hours, and I talk about exactly what you need to have on your dating profile in order for you to have a winning profile. And if you still need more help, then you may want to consider coaching. It doesn't have to be me, but since you asked me, then you can sign up for the wait list, and I'll be opening up my coaching program at the end of October. I am still on maternity, so I'm taking a break. Start with the free. Go to the super affordable. If you're still not successful, invest in yourself. Okay? But yes, it works because my clients tell me that it works all the time and I have the evidence to prove it. It's on my profile. I want to say my last wedding, which was on September 3rd in Virginia, was Match.com. The wedding before that was also a dating app. That was in December in Miami. The wedding before that was in July. That was an ex who she reevaluated, okay? And it was really her fault. Just a side note. So does online dating work? Yes, it can. Just like offline dating can or cannot work. The same human beings that are on dating apps are the same human beings that you are meeting socially. Thank you, Tay. She said loves the hair. They're the same human beings that you're meeting socially. They're the same human beings that you are meeting at the bar, at the club, at brunch, at game night. It's the same people. So it working or not working doesn't depend on where you meet them. It working or not working depends on the conversation that you're having, if you're clear about what you're looking for, if you're compatible, just like if you meet anybody else. Okay? Why are some men confused? Why are some men confused? I don't think that they are confused. I think they are very clear as to what they want. They might not make it clear to you. Thank you, Tay, for purchasing a badge. They might not make it clear to you what they're looking for, right? But I don't think that men are confused. And I think that they are very clear about what they want and what they want out of who. It just depends on whether what they want out of you is the same thing that you wanted, right? It depends on whether or not you're asking those clarifying questions early in the game and dismissing people who make it clear to you that they're not interested in anything that's more deep. It's about, and I just put up this post yesterday, like accepting bullshit. Like if you're just not going to accept it, you don't accept it, right? Like if it's making it clear, if a person's making clear to you that they're not interested in you, then you need to bid them adieu. Don't engage. So I don't think that men are confused. I think they are very aware as to what they want and who they want it from. They might not make it clear to you up front, but that's why it's going to be up to you to vet them appropriately, for you to ask the right questions, right? If you want to know about what right questions to ask, click the link in my bio, check out the free training. The free training is going to give you some insight. If you need more support, you check out Dating 101. It's $37. 3 hours of training, okay? How do I set boundaries with my ex? How do I set boundaries with my ex? You are talking to the wrong person because I don't have boundaries with an ex. They don't exist. They don't exist. Why should they? Right? Now, even if I was the bad one, even if I was the one who did wrong, if they were the one who did wrong, whatever, it didn't work out. And so I'm not maintaining any kind of relationship with them in order to have to worry about maintaining or creating some kind of boundary. What boundary? They don't exist. And again, this is not in an effort to be nasty, but I just do not maintain relationships with any of them because I don't see the benefit, right? What if you have children together? So what if you have kids together? Then it depends on the boundary. What's the issue? Are they calling you late at night? Don't answer unless they have custody of the child that night, right? Are they trying to talk to you about anything else other than the child? Then you make it abundantly clear. If we're not talking about the child, then there's nothing to talk about, and you might have to bang it on them a couple of times. You might have to text it to them a couple of times. You might have to email it to them a couple of times. If we're not talking about our son, then there's nothing to talk about, and you do not engage. Most of the time, most people are not crazy. Like, we like to throw away, everyone's a narcissist. Most people are not insane. Most people are not psychopaths. Most people are not narcissists. Some of us have narcissistic traits. Some healthy, good human beings have some narcissistic traits. Everybody's not a narcissist, right? Eventually, if you make it clear to your child's father, your child's mother, I am not interested in you romantically. This will never happen. This is the language. I am not interested in us rekindling a relationship. This will never happen. We together as a couple will never happen. If you are not calling or texting me about our son, then please do not call or text. He's not going to chase after you for 12 months. Like, it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen, okay? So if you're talking about someone that you have a child with, so then obviously you still have to communicate with them, then you make it abundantly clear and you're consistent. You don't sleep with them 3 weeks after that and then you're surprised when they're confused. You don't then say, oh, I wish that we were a family and why couldn't we work things out? And then you're surprised. You need to make sure that the message is abundantly clear from the beginning. They will get it eventually, okay? If we're not talking about anyone who has a child, then there's nothing that's keeping us together. And so there's no reason to talk. You can block them on everything. You can mute them on everything. Don't pick up their phone calls. Don't reply to their text messages. That's how I would roll. I am not interested in maintaining. I have enough friends. I don't need more friends. I'm good. And they're good. And they need to move on because I'm sure that they're still attached. Okay? And I think, oh no, we got two more. Been seeing someone for 6 months, but there are personality differences. What do I do? I've been seeing someone for 6 months, but there are personality differences. What do I do? It depends on the nature of the personality differences. Is it so much so that the two of you cannot get along? Is it an 80-20? 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, are you happy and fulfilled? And you know that this person's the right one for you, and this is it. 80% of the time. 20% of the time, you're annoyed, right? Not angry, not in full-blown tears, but not happy, right? So you have to decide how extensive are these personality differences, how happy or unhappy you are, what percentage that looks like. Follow the 80-20 rule. If 80% of the time you are fulfilled and happy, then that's what you should do. You should continue to date them. If not, that means that the personality differences between the two of you are too drastic, then you should move on accordingly. Okay? Last question. Any good questions to ask a divorcee when dating? Any good questions to ask a divorcee when dating? Yes, I want to know why the relationship failed. I want to know why you guys got a divorce. Just like I want to know what went well in the marriage, right? Because then that's going to give me some insight on some of the behaviors that's going to be expected of me. Potentially, if we get together, what the roles will look like for me. Potentially, if we get together, I want to know what went well. And I also want to know why it failed. And I'm going to tell you this. If the person does not answer that question with any accountability on their part, none, like there's no, they were perfect angels, and their wife is just the biggest, most terrible bitch of all time, and they take no accountability, I'm good on them. Because I don't believe it. And let me tell you why. Even in the case of someone being an angel, they are the perfect partner, which does not exist. But let's pretend that this person is a perfect partner who never did anything wrong whatsoever. right? At minimum, they made a poor choice. They ignored blatant signs. They allowed themselves to be abused. And I know that y'all don't like that language, and I'm going to say it again. They allowed themselves to be abused because this is not 1950, right? You are not stuck where women can't even open up bank accounts on their own. They face discrimination on the workplace. They couldn't own property. Like, this is not the 1800s and 1900s, right? So, So in the perfect instance of did nothing wrong, I was the perfect wife, I was the perfect husband, I did everything right, then there's something that you did wrong at minimum in your selection. Now, I don't want y'all to jump on that because people love to say that, oh no, the only thing I did wrong was I chose wrong. Nah, you did some stuff wrong too. Your communication wasn't that great. You didn't seek outside help because you don't think that therapy works, or you're cheap. Right? And so you allowed the relationship to continue to drown because you didn't want to reach out for outside assistance. You spoke to your friends about your problems instead of talking to your man about your problems, right? You cheated, he cheated. So I don't even want to hear the excuse of, oh no, I did everything right except for choose wrong, because that's still a bullshit excuse. But at minimum, it's that. But to answer your question, any good questions to ask a divorcee? My number one question is, why did the marriage end? People are not getting divorces willy-nilly. They're just not, right? So there has to be a good reason, and I'm listening for them to take some level of accountability. If they don't take some level of accountability on why their marriage ended, then I'm not interested in dating them romantically either. Because to me, that means that when we get into it, he's not going to take any accountability for where he went wrong. And I'm not down. Like, we both need to be accountable. And this whole social media lie, let me just say this because it pisses me off, that women don't take accountability is a lie. Okay? People don't like to be accountable because people don't want to be the bad guy, because people don't want to be at blame or at fault for when things go wrong. It's not a woman thing. It's not a man thing. Most of the stuff that's talked online is not a woman thing or a man thing. It's a person thing. It's a people thing. Okay? So, absolute fearlessness. Hi, Charlene from the High. How are you, boo? And did I say thank you, Tay, for purchasing the badge? I appreciate that. Okay. I've been divorced so long, I don't even want to be talking about it. I get it, Cam. But if you are going to get involved with someone romantically, they're going to want to know. Whether or not they're bold enough to ask, they're going to want to know. And if you guys are going in the direction of being together romantically, I think that they have a right to know. Just off the fact that I don't want to make the same mistake that the other person did, right? So if you, Cam, are dating a guy, and other than like the obvious like cheating or something like that, right? But if it's finances, let's say, then perhaps I'm going to want to know that so that I could be, because I really like you, Cam, I'm going to be more mindful of the way that I spend. I'm going to be more mindful because I know that that's what caused your last relationship to end. If you're taking each other seriously, they have a right to know. Okay? Oh, thank you, Charlene, who says congratulations on becoming a mom. You're so beautiful. You're still I'm not glowing. I'm sweating because I took the AC off so y'all can hear me good. So this glow is sweat. But nonetheless, I've got to go. It is after 7:00. This live would be saved. Again, if you are a subscriber to my Instagram page, it is only $4.99. If you are not, you could go to my stories and subscribe. You're going to get exclusive content. You're going to get your questions answered first. You're going to get the morning, evening, afternoon gems. You're going to get stories. You're going to get insights. We're going to have conversations. So make sure that you subscribe so you can get that exclusive content. Did I say this is going to be saved? It's going to be saved so you can watch it later. And au revoir. It's been a pleasure, and I will see you guys next week. Have a good one.